Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. The story begins as we learn that 3 years have passed since Sion, the legendary hero, sealed the gates of hell. However, the gates have opened and the demons have returned. 3 months after this, we meet a pretty unremarkable and average villager named Touka. Touka pulls what seems to be a legendary weapon out of the dirt, but it's just a radish that he's very proud to have grown. Touka admires it for a moment and strangely begins to put a stocking on it, but he is stopped by his childhood friend Yuusha. He explains that he's simply harvesting radishes, but she can clearly see him dressing it. Touka admits to it and points out that he's not the only one that would do it. She says that he's the only creep that would do it, but we see 2 other guys that thought it was normal too. Yuusha points out how the legendary hero is their age, but he has already managed to save the world. Touka is quick to point out that the sacred sword could have chosen anyone, and the seal the hero placed didn't hold up for long. Touka states that all he cares about is making sure his own house and field are safe. He includes protecting her as well, but pays the price when he tries to fix her stocking. She explains that he needs to be more serious since demons could come to their village as well, but Touka isn't too worried since he has created a brilliant trap. Of course, a demon shows up moments later and Touka must think quickly to rescue Yuusha. He grills some meat to attract the demon, but it explains that it hates pork. His rescue attempt has failed, and what's worse is that Yuusha seems upset that he's grilling while she is in danger. Touka has no choice but to fight the demon, but luckily Sion, the legendary hero, saves them. Yuusha is shocked to hear that Sion remembers her, as Touka remembers how the hero saved her 3 years ago. Sion compliments her smile, but his smooth talking agitates Touka to no end. Touka tries to explain that he tried to rescue her too, but she just tells him to go back to his one-man barbecue. A loud growl brings fear that another demon has appeared, but it's just Sion's stomach, as he has not eaten for some time. Touka becomes enraged when Yuusha invites Sion to dinner, but he smells some barbecue close by. Shock overwhelms Touka when everyone checks to see that the legendary hero has fallen into Touka's trap. The other villagers want Touka to pay for what happened, but he explains that it was an accident, and if anything, he is the real victim since Sion was trespassing to steal food. Touka is then quick to point out that no one would believe that a legendary hero died in such a silly way. Anyone that the villagers tell will probably just assume that the village did something. The elder agrees with Touka, and there's no good lie to explain why he died and they lived. There are no options, but Touka has come up with one. They bury the hero as Touka explains that now it seems like they had nothing to do with it. His helpers can't believe the way he thinks, but figures it takes a madman to off the legendary hero. Touka laughs maniacally while stating that they are just protecting the village, and we see that someone is watching them. The next day, Touka wakes and is shocked to find that he looks just like the legendary hero. He goes to see Yuusha to check if he is just dreaming, and finds that it's real as she can't believe to see Sion alive. Yuusha admires how handsome he is, but can't help but point out how badly he smells. She calls him a monster and doesn't believe when he tries to explain that he is Touka. Luckily, he remembers how she used to call herself Magical Girl Yuusha, and he is the only one in the world that knows that. His real identity is confirmed, but he has no idea how his soul came into Sion's body. A girl laughs in the distance, delighted to hear that the man who managed to kill the legendary hero has also managed to recognize her necromancy. They rush to find a girl named Henri, as she explains that she was the one who put him in Sion's body. Touka wants more answers, but the girl points out how she is in a bad spot. She explains that she was trying to see Touka's reaction when he saw his new body, but fell and is amazed that Touka was able to anticipate her actions and set a trap. Touka just wants her to change him back, but she explains that she won't since he must now save the world as the legendary hero. Sion told her that if he were ever to die, then she should use their powers to give his body to someone else, and that it should be a person she believes could save the world. She points out how Touka eliminated Sion and almost got her too, so someone as strong as him can surely save the world. Yuusha is ready to join him on the adventure, and points out how Touka owes it to the hero, but he decides to pass. Henri threatens to take his life if he doesn't save the world, but he points out he is still in the hero's body. Henri reveals that Touka's original body is sealed inside a small ancient coffin, and the moment she destroys it, his consciousness will expire. Touka seems furious to hear her challenge him in this way, but then just agrees to save the world. To prepare, they head to Bellum, the largest city in the world. Touka explains that he's not mentally ready and will be upset the entire journey, but instantly becomes happy when he is met by fans of Sion. Afterwards, Yuusha finds a wand she likes at a store. Touka points out that she can't even use magic, but she explains that she can just get the look down first. Touka wants to buy it for her as a gift, but is shocked to hear that it costs $10 million, and their budget is nowhere close to that. Touka has the girls wait outside and emerges moments later to say he let him have it for 1,000. He credits his great charisma, and later we find that they can't afford to sleep at an inn either. Touka is confused since Ari should have been paid by the king when they saved the world 3 years ago, but she explains that she has never even met the king. This is because her necromancy magic is taboo. It's a kind of magic that is illegal to even use, and if anyone finds out about it, she could be executed. Touka uses his charisma again to get their meal for free, but Yuna doesn't want to continue being leeches to society, so they decide to look for work at the Adventurers Guild. As they leave, Touka's approached by more fans of Sion. They tell him he stinks and offer him a place where he can get cleaned up. They have never met Sion before though and realize that there have been a lot of imposters recently. They decide to take him to one of their guards since he has fought alongside Sion before, and the man confirms it's really him. The guard reminds him that he promised to duel him the next time they met. Touka is certain that he will be killed, but remembers that he has the hero's sacred sword. With newfound confidence, Touka gracefully leaps through the air to land a powerful attack, but finds that his sword doesn't work. A crowd gathers and the guard exclaims that Touka is a fake, since the real Sion isn't close to being that weak. At the Adventurers Guild, Yuna wonders where Touka is gone, and Henri finds a job that pays 300,000 for each demon slain. They are approached by a man named Kyle, who explains that he worked with Sion and Henri to save the world. He was once Sion's famous right-hand man, and has been trying to track sightings of Sion. He assumes Henri knows exactly where he is, but is shocked to hear that he is dead. Elsewhere, Touka tries to convince people that he's really Sion, but they proclaim that the real hero doesn't look sickly or smell bad like he does. Touka thinks about how Henri told him that his mana would restore the body, but it's obviously rotting. He tries to say that having the sacred sword is proof he is Sion, but he's shown several replicas taken from other imposters. They plan to make an example out of Touka by giving him the death sentence, but Kyle arrives to stop them. He is well respected as the hero's famous right-hand man and asks that he be released. The guards are skeptical, but Kyle offers to give them proof. Kyle explains to Touka that he has been filled in on the situation and tells him to hold the sacred sword while visualizing a giant blade. The sword grows to a massive size and everyone is convinced, but it droops. Kyle isn't even sure what to do at this point, but luckily Yuna arrives with an idea. She claims that if he's able to slay more demons on the quest than anyone else, then it should be enough proof. Touka is hesitant, but everyone else thinks it's a great idea. That night, Yuna explains to a furious Touka that this was the only way to rescue him, and Henri tells him to calm down. This only upsets him more though, and he wants answers as to why his body is still rotting and his sword droops. Henri explains that both his body's regeneration and the sword's strength are determined by mana. The only answer is that Touka has a miserable amount of mana. Henri blames herself for assuming that he would have tons of mana, and Touka tries to say that maybe the problem is that he's too awesome. Henri has a magic stone that glows brighter based on the amount of mana, and hers is the brightest. Touka gives it a try and the faintest light shows that he has a mana level of 1, akin to a baby's. Kyle points out how this is a huge problem since it means Touka will just keep rotting until he's a mere skeleton. Kyle offers to take Touka's place inside Sion's body, but Henri rejects that idea. Kyle wonders if it's because of an incident that happened 3 years ago, but that is unrelated. Touka thinks the job should go to someone that actually wants it, but Henri declines again. She explains that Sion's successor must be capable of saving the world. Of the two of them, one managed to slay the hero and the other could never best him, so she chooses Touka. Kyle completely understands and determines that if that's the case, then slaying Touka right now will make it clear who Sion's successor should be. Thanks for watching part 1, 3,000 likes and I'll know you want a part 2.